Member for Shuswap.
Well, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Today it's truly an honour to rise and speak to this very important motion. Be it resolved that this House honour International Women's Day by reaffirming our commitment to building a world free of gender-based bias, violence, and discrimination. This is an issue that we should all care deeply about, not only because of the women in our lives, and I certainly have a significant number of women that have a significant impact in my life. I've got 4 amazing, strong, caring and compassionate daughters. I've got 6 granddaughters. And if we all think even just about our mothers and our grandmothers and the very important role that they've all played in our lives, the very least we can do is show them the respect and bring forward the piece of legislation, the private member's bill, the member for Surrey South brought forward with respect to equal pay legislation. As has been spoken about here in the House, it's extremely important that we shed a light on the inequity of pay, the disparity in pay between women and men in our lives and our workforce that are actually doing the same job. This is extremely important. And it's very disappointing to hear members of the government side of the House not only taking the time and the delay in bringing forward this important piece of legislation, but also with some of their commentary around the disrespect for BC Liberal members and the work that has been done previously in supporting women in this province. By 2017, government had already committed more than $70 million per year in the prevention and intervention of services and programs that benefit victims of domestic violence and other crimes. This concluded supports of more than 160 police-based and community-based victim services programs and around 250 programs that provide counseling and outreach services to women fleeing violence in their relationships and children who witness abuse. All members of this House are concerned and show their support for women. But unfortunately, it's the members of the government that are trying to play politics and trying to cast aspersions about the work that members of this legislature have actually done over a significant number of years. Now, it's important to respect that we care about all people that deserve basic human rights, equal opportunity, equal treatment, and respect, whether it's in our households, in our workplaces, or in our communities. It's incumbent on all of us to not only celebrate the women in our lives, but to take some time to reflect on how we can make their lives better and on how we treat each other. I look around this room and I see all of the accomplished women before me, and that is great to see. Encouragingly, in the nearly 10 years that I've served as an MLA, it's been normal to see this many women in the chamber. But as we know, that has not always been the case. In my career in business, before I entered the world of politics, I was also inspired by the many women and staff, some of them my own family members that I had the privilege of working with. But it's one thing to get women to the table. We also need to reflect on how we support them and how we make them feel once they work alongside us. Are we paying them the same as their male counterparts in similar positions? Are we empowering them to create a safe space for them to share their ideas and opinions? Are we open to receiving and acting on those ideas and opinions? Are we acknowledging the reality that women continue to disproportionately feel the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, from job losses to juggling work and childcare duties to additional caregiving responsibilities, and are we doing anything about it? And this is where we as provincial representatives can do some work. The official opposition continues to press government for a jobs plan that focuses on some of the key groups, including women, that have suffered pandemic job losses, particularly full-time jobs and reduced shifts. We also continue to urge the government to make good on its childcare commitments to families. The $10 a day childcare was a promise, and that's what should be delivered upon. Right now, the infants whose care was supposed to cost $10 a day in this government's first year of office are gearing up for kindergarten now. It's been 5 years. Not only is this timeline off target, but the government is now talking about an average of $20 a day, not 10. Parents are left confused and disappointed. That is, if they can find a daycare spot at all. And what about pay equity? We have a straightforward private members bill that's been put forward a number of times by my colleague, the member of Surrey South, and yet there's been no desire by this government to even call the bill for debate, much less take any action on this important issue. Honourable Speaker, I want to acknowledge the good idea from the member of Surrey South, and I encourage members to bring it forward for debate in this legislative session.
Thank you, member.